The global milk market has not helped family dairy farms, and that probably the national milk market hasn't really helped family dairy farms either. We had the Northeast Dairy Compact for a few years, and that was a pretty successful model. Basically, that creates a regional milk market. And with, it costs more to make milk in the Northeast for various reasons. One is the climate. One is that farmers tend to have smaller tracts of land, so they don't benefit from economies of scale as much. But the Northeast is a milk deficit region, meaning we have to import, especially New England imports a lot of milk from New York State. But if we could have pricing that was specific to the northeastern states and have more of a regional milk market, regional dairy market, that would probably help a lot.
Which you had under the Dairy Compact, which expired and didn't get renewed.
Well, there were suits from other regions. Wisconsin and California did not like it.
Big food producers of the big dairy producers didn't like it. And
I hope there'll be more and more regional markets will come back also. There are different stewards, I think, buying milk from New York farmers, and a return to, because back in the day, there was a creamery in every other town, and that's not ancient history, and it's evolved to a different way, but, sometimes you got to look, maybe it's a pendulum and it'll go back, and we'll look for more and more opportunities for regional markets, I think.
And as you just mentioned, Stewart's does buy from New York dairy farmers.
Yeah, they do. Mm-hmm. So they process their own stuff, make ice cream out of it, and the dairy farmers like it. So,
is there anything in the Farm Bill that being debated that helps, that takes steps in the right direction?
It would be great to have a better price support system. The last Farm Bill sort of unraveled the previous price support system, and it would be great to get that back. They changed it to an insurance program, and a lot of farmers bought into that, but they never got any money back, so that hurt them further and made them feel slightly embittered about the Farm Bill. But it's a semi-regulated market, so they regulate the price that the farmer gets for the milk, but they don't regulate the price of the inputs. So it's really not fair. It's not a fair system, so I feel like if they're going to regulate on one end, they should regulate on the other end, or somehow, create a system where they get a subsidy when their price goes below the cost of production. Because how can we expect them to keep on making milk if they're losing money?
And how can they keep going on doing that? Does that worry you and others? I mean, are we at a crisis point where if something isn't done and done soon, the few thousand remaining farms will be gone, and all you'll have left will be the giant farms with thousands of cows that are able to survive?
I think there are plenty of people who study dairy who would say that's a distinct possibility, say in the next 20 years or so, because also a lot of the small family farms in the Northeast do not have succession plans, and a lot of them that we've talked to say that they don't want to pass on a farm that isn't working to their child. But yet a lot of the kids want to take it over, and they're searching for a way to make it work, and some of them are doing really creative things like making their own line of pudding, and they're working really hard and trying to be creative and find a way to make it work. Mm-hmm. But there's only a limited market. There's not an unlimited market for pudding and artisan cheese and raw milk. So,
but for many, it's a way to supplement their income enough that they can survive.
Absolutely, yeah.
And Sarah makes a point about we don't want just a couple of great big farms. There's some people who think that's the way it should go. The free market, get big or get out. And but there's value to having a dispersed agricultural community. Because if anything happens to one of the big farms, then all ag is gone from that region. So we'd like to look for ways to support small and mid-sized dairy farms. We think it's really important. We think it shows the new food or local food farmers the appropriate scale for agriculture in the Northeast, because a lot of the really vibrant local food operations, whether it's veggies or and they're making a product that people seem to want, they run into a problem after a few years, like, how do I scale this up so I can actually make a living doing it? And and I think a mid-sized dairy farm shows us an appropriate scale for ag in the Northeast. So,
what's been the response to the documentary as you show it at film festivals and around New York and New England?
we're thrilled with the response. It's a micro-budget, self-distributed film, and we've had 60 screenings this year, roughly. Is that right, Sarah? Something like that. And we've been in a bunch of mid-sized film festivals, and the best part about it is the conversations we have with the audience after the film. We're hoping to be on some PBS affiliates like Mountain Lake PBS down the road a bit, and it's been fantastic. We're going down to University of Connecticut this evening, and we just screened up at the Minor Institute last night. Wonderful audience there, and met you guys. And ultimately, it'll be in 2018. We'll make it available to stream online, and you can learn about our film at ForgottenFarms.org. And there's a vibrant Facebook page, Forgotten Farms Facebook page, where you can always find out where we're going, and you'll be able to buy DVDs and Blu-rays in 2018 as well. So,
did this documentary identify anything that now you maybe look at doing another film on? Do you continue looking at ag, or was there anything that came out of this documentary that you are like, whoa, let's take a look at that?
Yeah, I mean, well, we started this project about 5 years ago, so we spent several years shooting it and editing it, and now we've been going around with it for a year and a half. And things have changed, and we've learned so much during this process from talking to so many people in ag policy and dairy. And also the situation has declined since we started. So yeah, there's so many follow-up issues that we would like to be able to continue to work on. And there's a lot of interest in the Canadian system. I would love to do a small piece, maybe a short documentary about the Canadian system, because a lot of farmers down here are a bit envious of that system that controls the supply, and that farmers actually have more security in terms of their income and their future.
Which is also putting Quebec and Ontario at odds with New York State and
it is.
Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer and others who, because New York farms were before selling more milk across the border and
Right.
now under the system in Canada to help the farmers in Canada, New York farmers are losing out.
yeah.
But we can learn a lesson from that maybe the U.S. states should do more to protect their farmers.
That it may be a pricing system
Yeah.
that if not the whole country, regions of the country ought to look at.
Yeah.